Hi everyone. Today we are going to do a story time. If you don't know what that is, it's literally just a story. I'm someone who obviously processes a lot, and I've always done story time on maybe like an Instagram post. And then obviously it would be like typed out and shit. But, I think that as I continue to, you know, teach, I think it's important to also show like real life experiences that do happen. Um, I obviously am still growing as a person, and I have some really weird experiences. And for a lot of you, um, I know for a shit ton of you, you're learning more about who I am as a person and just things that I deal with regularly that I don't always talk about. And for the people who are in my like inner circle, they are all being bombarded. I won't say bombarded, but when shit goes down for me and I need a process, it's gonna be one of my girlfriends that is gonna be getting a call and being like, "Yo, this happened." Like, so uh, I just had like a recent experience, and as I was sharing with one of my friends, she was like, "I feel like you just need to do like your quote unquote sauna stories." So if you know me, you know I'm pretty active. I spend, you know, maybe I'm at the gym 5 days a week, um, and about 3 of those days, I tend to hit the sauna. And I'm someone who likes pre workout. When I go to the gym, it is my release. So, and it's funny, I spent about 10 years working in the gym. And then during that time, I would work during the day and party at night. And when I would go out to the clubs, I always got that music, that high intensity. And because during that time, it would be hard to try and want to work out at the gym and spend an hour there at a place you're usually spending like 50, 60 hours a week. So, now that I no longer work at the gym and I'm no longer clubbing, it's nice to be able to merge the two where I can go get my workout on. I can go, take some pre workout and then have my music playlist where my heart rate is going like it did in the clubs, and I just get to go have a good time and release. So, how that kind of ties into the sauna is that 3 of those days, um, I need to really like get the pre workout out of my system. And going into the sauna with water, I get to just flush all that out because sometimes I would feel like if I didn't do that, that pre workout is still running through my system. So when I go home and I have some work to do, I am literally just kind of like, mm, I don't want to use the word unstable, but you're just not like grounded. You're just kind of like, I need to do this and this and this, and then nothing gets done because, it's just a constant squirrel. So when you go into the sauna, it is a very unique experience because I can't think of many other situations, at least not for me, where you go into an area, um, it's like a hot box, like, and you just sit down and conversations happen with people that you would not normally talk to. And sometimes you are not the one initiating conversation. Sometimes these are people that just start talking to you. And I have found myself in a wide variety of conversations. Some fun, some lighthearted, some of them meaningful, some downright scary. Well, generally, if they start to get scary, I'm out. Um, you know, uh, But in this situation, uh, I walk in, and there is this. I'm trying to think of like how much information to share. There is this gentleman that is across from me. So if the entrance is here, I'm standing against the wall. There's a gentleman that's directly across from me, and then there's this woman who is um, closer to the dude, but against the wall on that side. And the guy just starts looking at me, and there's a certain type of intensity behind the eyes. And what I try to do in those situations is I try not to like lock eye contact, because that can be a lot. And sometimes, without knowing what the person's intentions or thoughts are, you might find yourself in a situation that you just don't want to be in. So, when I make eye contact, I try to look at people with kindness. And you just smile and you just nod, and carry on. And he starts talking to me in Spanish, and his intensity, um and with how fast he was speaking, I kind of, just was overwhelmed. I don't speak Spanish. I do understand some, but when it comes to understanding, I need them to speak, not super slow, but you can't just start rapid fire at me and, with an intense energy, because I'll just shut down. So he starts kind of, um, I'll just say, going in. And like I said, it wasn't anything bad. It was just, there was a very intense feeling behind it. And also, all at the same time, I'm also registering energy and taking information that way. So it's, I'm collecting data. So before I can even respond, the girl that's over here, she just like, she does this laugh and goes, and just kind of looks down. And then I just have to respond to him like, hey, I don't speak Spanish. And his response is like, what? How do you not speak Spanish? And I don't speak Spanish. My father never taught me. And generally, from my understanding, when young children are learning a second language, that is generally taught by the mother. But aside from that, so he starts, talking to me in English, and said, like, he starts commenting on my looks. And his words are like, it sounds stupid bringing this up, but it actually is like, you model, you go into you into movies, and I'm like, nope. And but what threw me off is that it's very uncomfortable sometimes when someone just starts going in on your looks, especially with an intense energy. And when you're in a hot box like the sauna, um, you have really, I mean, unless you want to like step out, there's not really anywhere to go. It's hot, and it's a box. So, I'm just like, nope. And he goes, some people have looks, and some people like me just don't have it. Um, and the woman's laughing, because she is a Spanish speaker, um, and she heard everything that was said before it got to me, before I was, fully aware of what was being communicated. And she ends up getting up, leaving, and this dude just is feeling some type of connection towards me, because he really wants to just talk. And almost kind of like opening the floodgates. It's like verbal diarrhea. I'm getting the whole life story, and there's a lot of struggle. There's a lot of struggle that I'm picking up on, through his words. And he starts commenting about my energy. And when he starts talking about his past, it's some heavy duty shit, you know, how he has been in and out of juvenile hall, or he was in and out of juvenile hall, but there was always this one woman who he referred to as mom. And he's like, she always looked out for me. And she always made sure I was fed, and she always took me to school. And she would always encourage me even when I was bad, you know? And he says, there's something, you remind me of her. And immediately I'm just kind of like, what I'm getting is there's something about my energy that is reminiscent to an energy that he had in the past, and an energy that he no longer has available to him. And on an unconscious level, he's making a connection to me, um, through her, and is trying to feed off of my energy. And it wasn't in a bad way. Um, it wasn't malicious, and it wasn't bad. It just, I became very aware that I was making him feel good through a past memory, and he was trying to latch onto that. Um, and he continues go like, it becomes a very one way conversation, because I can't even really get words in, because from what I'm gathering is that he is very impulsive. He is very reactive. Um, and he just responds before thinking things through. And that's a problem. Not having consequential thinking is a big problem. Not having the foresight to, understand actions have consequences. It's the same thing that I just repeated. But, so he's going in, and then he starts talking about how he's got 5 kids, that he wishes he could have a relationship with them and check in on them. But the courts, he's been in and out of jail. Oh, he was telling me about how he went to CYA as a kid. And if you don't know what CYA is, it is the Children's Youth Authority. So basically, if you are a really bad kid, they can't send, I mean, obviously you're an adolescent. You don't go to, you can't really be in juvenile hall, and they can't send you to prison, so they send you to CYA. And CYA is prison for kids. And if you think, prison is bad, you know, CYA is pretty fucking scary, in the sense that, at least with adults, for the most part, they have life experience to know, you know, you, some consequential thinking. When you are children, like, you have this idea that you're invincible, that nothing can stop you. And you know it's youth. Like, they just, yeah, it can be a really scary thing. So as he's sharing all of that information, I'm, I'm observing it. And it was an opportunity for me to observe but not feel. Because normally, in situations like that, I can start opening myself up and, read people. But as it's coming through, like, the situation is presenting itself, it's very much like observe but don't feel. And I don't feel threatened in a way that I need to immediately remove, but also I want to be very cognizant of my interactions, with this guy, because I have already received information that he's impulsive and reactive. I'm not interested in having conflict, and there's no need to. He's not being mean to me. It's just his energy, and he's really trying his best to make a good connection. A lot of it for him is definitely on an unconscious level. Um, so as he goes into, not having access to his 5 kids, and court separating it from him, this older guy comes in, and he sits down, and during that process, it's like sometimes I can hear other people's thoughts. And for him, he's like, what the fuck did I just walk into? But he is wondering how someone with energy like the dude and looking at me and how I am just entertaining this. Um, so for him, he's like, this is better than reality television, because this is happening like right in front of me. Uh, so the guy just continues to go on, and at a certain point, I'm realizing that I'm just holding space. And holding space means that I am allowing him to process and go through whatever it is that he's going through. I don't actually have to do anything with it. And had I been more interactive, maybe I might have gone elsewhere. But in that situation, it was very much a learning lesson for me to, again, observe but not feel. And also, while doing something nice and just holding space for someone. And after I left, you know, I took a breather outside and just sat for a minute. And the guy ended up coming out, and I think he literally was going through his head of realizing how much he just shared in a short period of time. And after that, he didn't really engage with me anymore. And I think over I feel in this situation where I think he just was processing like, what the fuck did I just do? Uh, but in that situation, that is sometimes how being aware of energy and what is not mine. Like, I could observe all of his energy, and it was not mine to feel or mine to do anything with. And there are some times where I don't always have to deliver messages, and I wasn't actually picking up on anything because my boundaries were, you know, I just needed to be present but not engaged. So, interesting story. I probably will end up doing some more at some point, but I think it's a good opportunity to share, you know, everything is a learning lesson. Sometimes we think back and like, shit, I wish I would have handled that better. Or, what is this that I'm picking up on? What do I need to do with it? Do I need to do anything with it? And most importantly, is it mine? Like, because if it's not, then at least with that information, you can carry on and let it go. And I think sometimes what happens is that a lot of us, because we can feel, we want to feel. And we don't have to all the time. We don't have to help everyone, especially if, they're not asking for it, or if it's if they're a stranger. We don't have to put ourselves on the line so we can actually get, messed up. So, and also the importance of, we don't have to hold space for everyone. Like, it's important to know how to hold space for others, but it's important to know how to hold space for yourself, and just be aware of what your boundaries are and what the steps are to rectify the situation, should you need to. I was prepared to walk out at any given time and just say, I have somewhere to be, have a nice day. Because in that situation, you don't need to meet intensity with intensity, just understanding. So, oof, 20-minute video. I hope that was an interesting story time, to be continued. We'll talk later. Bye.